Three phones, three chipsets, and all three are basically the fastest processors you can buy right now. First, the OnePlus 15 running the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, Qualcomm's flagship silicon build to break benchmarks on command. Then the Oppo Find X9 Pro with the Dimensity 9500, MediaTek's most powerful chip to date. And finally, the iPhone 17 Pro Max with the A19 Pro, the chip that's so fast and so efficient it might as well be competing with itself. This is a heavyweight triple threat match like no other. We put all three through a brutal lineup of benchmarks and the results were way more surprising than we expected. Before I get into it, hit like and subscribe so that you don't miss the rest of these insane comparisons. So here we go guys, but before I begin with the benchmarks, we take a quick look at the software. The OnePlus is on Android 16 based Oxygen OS 16, Oppo is on ColorOS 16 again on Android 16, whereas the iPhone is running on iOS 26. All three chipsets are based on 3nm process, so we should be seeing some next level figures across our benchmarks. बैटरी ड्रेन भी काफ़ी कंट्रोल होना चाहिए because of the massive efficiency gains जो 3nm process से आया है. But what do the actual figures say? Let's start with the test. Guys, as you can see, Oppo पे benchmark fail हो गया for some reason. Let's wait for the other two to finish. तो गाइस iPhone ने सबसे पहले टेस्ट कंप्लीट करा है, तो एक बार इसका टेम्परेचर भी चेक कर लेते हैं. iPhone is at 36.8 डिग्रीज. गाइस OnePlus का भी चेक कर लेते हैं. अरे इस पे तो हाई आ रहा है. सो दिस जस्ट शोज कि एप्पल का प्रोसेसर कितना एफिशिएंट है. लेट्स लुक एट द ओवरऑल स्कोर. द OnePlus इज अराउंड 3.7 मिलियन, जबकि iPhone पे 2.5 मिलियन के आसपास आया है. CPU एंड GPU स्कोर में भी काफ़ी डिफरेंस है. अब iPhone का स्कोर काफ़ी कम लग रहा होगा. वेल, देयर इज अ गुड रीजन फॉर दैट. भले ही सेम बेंचमार्क हो, AnTuTu का टेस्ट करने का तरीका थोड़ा अलग है फॉर iPhones देन इट इज फॉर एंड्रॉइड फोन्स. इसीलिए द डिफरेंस इन स्कोर्स डज नॉट नेसेसरली मीन्स कि रियल लाइफ परफॉर्मेंस में भी इतना फर्क पड़ेगा. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट Geekbench. दिस बेंचमार्क टेस्ट बेसिकली टेल्स यू हाउ पावरफुल योर फोन्स CPU actually is. The single core score shows how fast your phone can handle one task at a time, like opening apps, scrolling through Instagram, or doing your day-to-day stuff. The multi-core score represents its multitasking power, जैसे गेमिंग के साथ डाउनलोड्स और म्यूजिक प्लेबैक एक साथ मैनेज करना. इन सिंपल टर्म्स, हायर द स्कोर, द स्मूदर द परफॉर्मेंस एंड लेस लैग यू विल एक्सपीरियंस, स्पेशली जब आप फोन को हैवी यूज में लेते हो. लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द टेस्ट. तो सबसे पहले अगेन iPhone ने टेस्ट अपना कंप्लीट कर लिया है, फॉलोड बाय Oppo Find X9 Pro. OnePlus का भी चल ही रहा है. तो एक बार टेम्परेचर चेक कर लेते हैं. तो iPhone is at 36.1 डिग्रीज, Oppo is at 41.7 डिग्रीज और यहाँ पे हमारा मीटर रेड हो गया है. OnePlus ने भी ऑलमोस्ट खत्म कर लिया है टेस्ट. इसका भी एक बार टेम्परेचर चेक कर लेते हैं. OnePlus is at 37 डिग्रीज. नाइस, पहले ये रेड था, अब ये ग्रीन हो गया. लेट्स लुक एट द स्कोर्स नाउ. Not only did the iPhone wrap up the test first, इसने सबसे ज़्यादा स्कोर भी किया है with a single core score of 3725 and a multi-core score of 9634. The Oppo stood second with a single core score of 3198 and a multi-core score of 9383. While OnePlus आया है third with 2103 for a single core and 7959 for multi-core. बाकी दोनों फोन से बहुत पीछे है. Next up is the 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme Stress Test. Basically, it's a GPU torture session where your phone is pushed to its absolute limits, just like during long gaming marathons. ये टेस्ट बताता है कि फोन अपना ग्राफिकल परफॉर्मेंस हेवी लोड पे मेंटेन कर पाता है या नहीं, और if the GPU starts throttling once, it begins to overheat. In short, it's the ultimate way to check whether your phone can handle intense gaming without breaking a sweat. Let's start the test. Apple finished the test first again, followed by Oppo. Surprisingly, this time the benchmark crashed in OnePlus. Let's take a quick temperature test. iPhone is at 36.3 degrees and the Oppo is at 37.2 degrees. तो यहाँ पे Oppo का टेम्परेचर थोड़ा ज़्यादा आ गया. iPhone won this round in terms of stability with 68.1, whereas Oppo had a stability of 49.1. Okay, now let's take a look at the score. iPhone won this round in terms of stability with 68.1%, whereas Oppo had a stability of 49.1%. However, the iPhone's best loop score was 5531 while the lowest was 3769. On the other hand, Oppo का best score 7248 और lowest 3560. यानी Oppo's Dimensity 9500 ज़्यादा तगड़ा score लेके तो आता है, but it isn't able to sustain under load. OnePlus on the other hand was not even able to finish the test. Again, optimization का issue है. Now, to simulate real life usage, we will do a simple test using VN. We will stitch the same 20-second 4K 60fps clips a couple of times and export a 2-minute file as the final video. The test is very simple. The first phone to complete the export wins. तो सबसे पहले टेस्ट खत्म करा है Oppo ने, फॉलोड बाय iPhone, और OnePlus का भी चल ही रहा है. यह OnePlus को काफी टाइम लगा, जबकि Oppo was blazing fast with the export. iPhone भी कम नहीं था, pretty solid performance. एक बार बैटरी भी चेक कर लेते हैं. All three phones started out at 100%, but after our series of tests, the OnePlus is at 61%, Oppo is at 67%, iPhone is at 63%. अब बैटरी ड्रेन भले ही सेम लगे, but let's not forget, the OnePlus 15 comes with 7300 mAh बैटरी, वही X9 Pro comes with a 7500 mAh बैटरी और iPhone आता है 4823 mAh बैटरी के साथ. So technically, the iPhone drew the least bit of power. This shows just how efficient the A19 Pro really is. Okay, so as you saw some shocking results there. On paper, the Find X9 Pro has the brute force. In our early testing, it ran AnTuTu perfectly fine and pulled a solid 3.4 million. So the fact that it failed to finish the test this time, that feels more like a glitch or some weird system update than the phone choking. In Geekbench, things were normal. It stayed steady, came in second, no surprises there. In 3D Mark, the Dimensity 9500 went full beast mode. It got the best loop score of the entire run, which clearly shows कि raw power तो है. The catch is the stability. It dropped to 49%, which basically means it was throttling a lot and definitely could do with some tuning. And in our VN video export, the Oppo just took off. It beat both the OnePlus and the iPhone comfortably. Now, the OnePlus 15 had its own rollercoaster moment. In AnTuTu, it absolutely smashed it. Huge score way ahead of the iPhone, and even if we use Oppo's earlier number, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 still comes out on top. But 3D Mark didn't go well. The phone crashed right near the end. Now, this could be because of the thermals or a flaky patch update. The funny thing is, during our initial testing, it actually did really well. About 69% stability and great loop scores. Geekbench though wasn't at its best moment. It came in third, and in the VN export, it was the slowest of the three. And there's the iPhone. AnTuTu was its worst score by far. No debate there. But Geekbench? It just ate the other two alive. In 3D Mark, it stayed super consistent with around 68% stability, and its VN time wasn't the fastest, but it stayed close to Oppo. But remember, the iPhone never crashed. जब बाकी तो थक गए and had to take a break, this one kept going. In pure stability and efficiency, the A19 Pro in the iPhone 17 Pro Max was in a different league altogether. So, who actually won this triple threat match? If you want pure, unapologetic performance, the kind where heat, battery drain and stability don't matter, the OnePlus 15 and Oppo Find X9 Pro are the two that keep trading punches. Sometimes OnePlus pulls ahead, sometimes Oppo lands a surprise win. It's a real back and forth. Price-wise, the OnePlus 15 is the cheapest of the three, which makes its performance even more impressive. But if you want consistency, steady performance, predictable behavior and the best efficiency, the iPhone 17 Pro Max takes it. Apart from AnTuTu, it performed well everywhere. And that A19 Pro chip remains ridiculously efficient even with the smallest battery here. And keep in mind though, AnTuTu isn't directly comparable since iOS and Android use different testing systems. We only included it for fun. All three phones also have seriously powerful camera systems. So if you want the next video to be a full camera comparison, let us know in the comments. And also let me know which one are you picking. Hit like and subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.